Hello everybody and welcome back to the Eats of Mich. It has been a hot minute of socialising this summer and I've neglected to upload onto YouTube. I am trying to be super healthy at the moment after having a good few weeks of not being so healthy. And I'm going to try and follow up on Dr. McDoodle's book, High Carb, Low Fat, for a little while, just to get myself back into shape and lose a bit of weight. This morning for breakfast, I'm having some quick oats that I'm just going to cook in some water and, of course, some cinnamon. I'm going to heat that on the stove really high to bring it to a boil and then bring it down lower on a simmer. This will be my first day of getting back on a health kick and I thought uploading onto YouTube would be good. So yep, just turning it on the hob here. And then I recently went to a friend's house who has plums and apple trees, and these really need eating. So I'm going to wash and chop these to add on top of my oats. I decided just to go with one of those apples, so I popped the other one back. I then poured the oats when they were nice and hot and boiling and creamy into a bowl and served with the fruit on top. These plums were extra delicious and the apples tasted like Granny Smith's. They were very sweet, which I like. I also decided, even though I suppose this is not high carb, low fat, to add on some seeds. I added on a generous helping of flax seeds to the top, which gave it a nice crunch and different texture. And that was breakfast. For lunch, I wanted just a big, massive plate of food, like Mexican-y inspired. So I had these vegan corn chicken pieces, a can of black beans, a white onion, a bit of a green, yellow and red pepper, cumin, garlic powder and crushed chilies. I actually used paprika as well. And then for all of my non-starchy vegetables, I had broccoli, some Irish lettuce and champignons too, which I love just eating raw. So a massive bowl of like starches, proteins, and then lots of non-starchy proteins on non-starchy vegetables on the side. So I started by chopping everything up, and then I started by boiling my broccoli. So I just pop a saucepan on a high heat, the broccoli, cold water, pop the lid on to bring it up to a boil. I then grabbed a frying pan and put that on the hob and turned it onto a high heat also. Because I'm trying to lose weight, I'm going to add some water to the frying pan instead of oil. And that's what this is all about really. I'm testing to see if this higher carb, low fat thing will work for me. When it starts to bubble and gets really hot, I added in the slices of white onion. I'm probably going to cook these for about a minute on their own just to get them going before I add in my chicken pieces. So this is really, really hot. You definitely don't need oil. And just throughout the meal, keep adding, as you're cooking, keep adding water as it starts to stick. So I added in some of those corn pieces about a minute later, gave it a stir, and then left this to cook for about 2.5 minutes on its own before I added in my peppers. So here I am adding in the peppers a little while later. I'm going to literally cook these off for about 1 minute before adding in all my seasonings. So I'll give that a nice stir to combine it all. And again, just remembering to add in that water if it starts to stick. Okay, then I added in my seasonings. I added loads of cumin. So that's mainly what like fajita mix has in it. Garlic powder, that was quite a lot there, but it doesn't matter because it's garlic powder and it's so nice. I then added in another splash of water from the kettle. I added in a generous helping of salt, chili flakes, and then I couldn't do it on camera because it requires 2 hands. I added in some black peppercorns on top there, nice generous helping. And then I gave it all a stir to combine, and then literally, I mean, this is nearly done. I'm actually going to cook it off for another minute, and then I'm going to add in the cooked canned black beans. So while this was cooking, I put them into a sieve and rinsed them thoroughly. So that's really important to do. Make sure you do it until the water runs clear. So I grabbed them from my sink and popped them into my saucepan and gave everything a stir. And got some water in there that will be absorbed by the black beans so they can take up all those flavours too. This is so simple and low in calorie and really, really high in protein. And it makes so much food. This will be a brilliant one for when I go back to work to meal prep for lunch. After that was all combined, I removed the lid off my saucepan and my broccoli was bubbling over. I added the mange too. Now, I don't really want to cook this for long. I like it quite crunchy. So I'm going to just pop that in for a minute, give my dish a final stir and turn off the heat. And then after that, I've got my colander ready. I'm going to drain all my greens. My broccoli and the mange too. So the broccoli is soft, but still has a bit of a bite to it, but the mange too literally just cook it for like a minute. While I was doing all that, I did wash and chop my iced German lettuce as well. And then all that was left to do was compile my massive plate of food. So I started by adding on the lettuce to the plate. Then I add a massive generous helping of my corn chicken, black bean, Mexican dish. And then I added on some of the greens. This wouldn't be complete without salt and pepper all over my veg. And then in my fridge, I had a look at what sauces I had to jazz it up. And I decided to go with some of Frank's buffalo hot sauce that I've got in there. Sriracha would also be good, but I just love this red wing sauce on, and it just literally means that I can just eat so many vegetables, which is obviously the idea of the high starch, low carb diet. So again, a massive plate of food, really delicious, really quick to do, and look at all those colours. But yeah, good one. Definitely be having this again in meal prep. For dinner, I decided to make some potato wedges with a vegan meat replacement and a big salad. So I ended up chopping up all of these potatoes, me and my partner, into these wedge pieces. I then put them in a baking tray and added some big chunks of fresh garlic in between all of the pieces. And this just adds lots of flavour and is really nice roasted. I then sprinkled on a generous helping of some salt, followed by some red chilli flakes, which I really like these, so I'd put these on everything. So yeah, another generous helping of those. And then I added on some garlic powder, a lot of garlic powder because I just love it. And then lastly, I added on some paprika just to give it a bit more of a kick. And again, I just really like the taste of paprika. But you could add anything on these. I then mixed it all up with my hands to make sure everything is coated. Because I'd washed the potatoes, it meant that everything sort of stuck to it nicely without using any oil. So I gave that a shimmy around the roasting tray, and then I popped them in the oven for about half an hour, and making sure that in between every 10 minutes I was just making sure they weren't stuck and giving them a toss round so everything cooks nice and evenly. You could speed this up by boiling the potatoes first, but they ended up taking about 45 minutes. To go with my meal, I made a big salad with lots of different greens, spinach, mixed leaves and rocket. Also have this big jar of olives, a red onion, and these delicious orange cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and some peppers. So I chopped it all up, and this was the finished product. I actually ended up adding some roasted peppers from a jar and a handful of sweet corn too. I then took my hot spicy burgers. These are actually really low in calorie. There's 129 calories in one. They have got some fat in them though. But they're really yummy and spicy, and yeah, I wanted some of these. So I cooked all four, and whatever's not eaten will be meal prep. I again put these on a roasting tray, and these literally took 20 minutes to cook on a medium heat. So this was the finished food, all cooked and ready. I've got my salad prep, my wedges and my burgers, and then I plated myself up a nice generous helping of everything, and this is what it looked like. I topped my salad with some balsamic vinegar. I would have squeezed on some lemon if I had some, and it was really good. The wedges were really crispy and very, very delicious. To finish up my day, I had these Livia nuggets, chocolate brownie flavour. First time trying them, and they were really, really good. Made from really good ingredients. I love Deliciously Ella and Livia stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.